Hey, Coach, how beneficial do you think having a few extra days of practice for this game was compared to that North Dakota State game?
I think it's really beneficial. I think that particular game it was pretty evident that practice and preparation is really, really important, and that was something that we simply weren't allowed to do. Having 8 days off and then having a very short practice on Sunday with a 1 o'clock tip. It was to be quite honest, about what I expected. With that much time off and the inability to practice and prepare. So, having 3 days here, after the break to get back in the gym and emphasize some things, I think was really beneficial.
How did this team respond to that North Dakota State loss and then having that break? I mean, what were the last few days like?
Well, I mean, first off, they went on Christmas break, so many of them traveled out, the night of that game, which is why we played at 1 o'clock to try to give the players as much of a Christmas break as possible. But I felt like the last 3 days have been beneficial. I think it's very evident that from a conditioning standpoint, we have a lot of work to do. We have we just with all the time off and the inability to play games. I think it's going to be important for as we get into Big 12 play for players to kind of recondition themselves and to play themselves back into game shape.
You guys out-rebounded New Mexico State 47-34 today. What can you say about this team's heart and hustle to grab every rebound that they see?
It's something we emphasize a lot, and I think this particular team has been doing a pretty good job when it comes to, especially the statistics, rebounding margin. I think when you look at the game and you look at the hustle game or the 50-50 balls that a lot of people talk about, I thought that was an area in which we excelled today.
And you guys shot exceptionally well today. You guys shot 45% from the field and 85% from the line. Was there anything that you guys were doing in the scheme of things that were able to get players more open shots and easier shots for themselves?
When we didn't turn it over, I thought we did a fairly decent job of executing. Our practices, our team practices anyway, have been very defensive oriented. We've spent some time on offense, and the players have spent a lot of time, in the mornings coming in and getting shots up. But, from an offensive perspective, I think we just have to do a much better job of taking care of the basketball. We turned it over at an entirely too high rate today.
I know it's a weird schedule because you've already had a Big 12 game, but now that the non-conference season's done, I mean, just how prepared do you think this team is for the real Big 12 play now?
I think we're prepared. I think, my biggest concern with all the lack of practice, when you think about it, since December the 12th, we've had 4 practices. So my biggest concern is just players who were really in good shape prior to that, especially from a game conditioning standpoint, is going to be having to get that back in the heart of conference play, when typically that's not. You're a lot more worried about your legs and rest and recovery than you are trying to get yourself in game shape when you're in the middle of the league schedule.
Last question.
What did you like about the way Tina Stevens played? She didn't finish in double figures, but she had a plus-minus of plus 29.
Plus-minus 29. I mean, she was extremely active, impacted the game in every phase. Was really active defensively, and we got to get her more shots, and that'll be something that we'll have to look at on film. And we tried to call her number early, and I thought New Mexico State did a good job, but we definitely need to get Tina, more looks.
Thanks.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, Coach.